Okay, Kevin's going to do a test ride. He's going to jump when he goes into first gear. Oh, not too bad. Okay. Well, pretty good. He made it farther than the last time. That's always a good sign, except I just heard him miss a gear. We'll ask him about that when he gets back. Well, here he comes. He is under power, always a good thing. Downshifting nicely. Coming in here. Very good, got it into neutral okay. If the clutch is dragging, neutral is difficult to find. So that's a good sign. All right, doff your helmet. And tell us all about your trip.
All right.
Did you have a good trip?
It was very good. Nice acceleration. She does like a little bit higher RPM when you're upshifting, you know, so you got to hit that about that 3,000, then it slides just very nicely. The speedometer's a little goofy. Doesn't matter how fast you're going somewhere between 25 and 50 miles an hour. So, but the tack works fine. Downshifts very nicely. You know, nice engine braking. The brakes itself are good. The clutch plates still have to wear in a little bit. You get a little bit of drag. You know, when you downshift into first and try to stop. So you got to keep those revs up just a little bit if you come to a full stop.
Okay.
But no, she's fine. She's good to go as far as I'm concerned.
All right, very good. We're going to call it good and let her go. All right, the test ride went great. But when we came back, we've got some oil drips. So I just tightened this fitting one more time. I've done it about 3 times. Actually, yeah, just put brand new aluminum washers on it yesterday, and it's still oil dripped. So I just shortened this hose about 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 an inch and put it back on with fresh connection. So maybe that's the problem. Can't say for sure, but I could see the oil on top that was coming out. Oil coming out of here was interesting. Came out, followed this down around here onto the fin and over here, and made it look like it was leaking out of the head gasket up on the front of the engine. So the drip was way over here and the source was way up here. That's the fun part about chasing oil leaks. Where you see them is not necessarily where they came from. And you can spend hours and hours and hours chasing oil leaks on these bikes because that's one of the things they do best. So with that tightened, with all the excess oil cleaned up, with freshly washed down engine, getting all the oil off, we're now going to start the bike, put the fan on it, let it sit here for about 10 minutes or so, and while we work on some stuff on the bench and just see what we see. Okay, so we're going to open the door and start the bike. Well, that didn't take long. You can even see the trail going down the head, right down to there. And then it heads over towards the front of the engine. I'm going to try to reseal this one more time, and then I'm going to give up and order a new set of top-end oil lines. I have not liked these since the first day they came into the shop, and my non-likability of them has not improved at all with this experience. So I'm going to order some new oil lines. I'm going to try one more time to seal these, just one more time, and then order new ones. Bottom line is parts are less expensive than labor. All right, hi guys. This is what we're going to do. This is the oil setup that was on the bike, the rocker oil lines. We've taken it off, cleaned up all the bits and pieces. We have 6 new copper washers. These are all clean. These are all clean. Oh, there's an old copper washer on there. I gotta take that off. Pull this one off, would you, Kevin? And we're gonna just replace these black tubings with this nice thread reinforced clear plastic. I like these a whole lot better. I put them on all my bikes because I actually like to see the oil go through them when the bike first starts. You can watch the oil climb right up the pipe and go right to the head visually. And there's nothing I like better than a nice visual indication of good oil flow. So we're going to do this. This is our last ditch effort before I spend a lot of money on a stock or custom set of oil lines. That's what we're going to do right now. We're also not going to use these spring-loaded, even though I've started to like them. We're not going to use them. We're going to put in the type I use, which are these crimp-ons. And I carry all kinds of different sizes, and we will use these, which take a special crimper, and once they're on, they are super tight. So we're going to make this setup using these. And that's where we are. We're about ready to make a set. I'll show them to you before we put them on, then I'll show them to you when they're on. So I just said to Kevin, here, you make the darn things. And I turned around and said, what are you doing? What are you doing? He said, look, smiley face. Okay, fine. Smile, say hi to everybody.
That's right. Too much time on my hands.
All right, so we've made the new oil lines. They are in place. We have not yet crimped the clamps. We haven't crimped the clamps. Cool. But they are in place. They look really good. Fit nicely. And we're going to crimp the clamps.
Yeah.
Clamp the clampers. Crimp the clamps now. But we're going to do a little demo over and show you what the type of clamps that we use. I buy them in a lot of different sizes and have an ear on them and have a special set of pliers. So we're going to put that one in place and just do this as a demo, showing how we tighten them down. You pick them up into the ears and give them a squeeze, and that is nice and tight. Kevin speaks fluent German, and he refers to this as Guten Tight. Don't know. I didn't know a language, so what can I say? Okay, so we're going to go over here, and Kay, why don't you do this one? What about in there? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Get it up right about the middle.
Yep.
All right. Great. All the way. There you go.
Yep.
Let's go do the other. Okay, so we got these lined up.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And this is probably the most difficult. You have to get down underneath of there.
Let's see. I think the sideways is gonna be. Yeah, you might show them that this thing has 2 angles.
Did you get on there all the way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. This is a neat tool. It is custom made, special made for this purpose. And I'll show you why it has a hole in the side of it. Oh, no, on the top of it. Okay? Because this is a pinch, and this is a pinch, and you can actually, Kevin, hold this for a second. Come over and hold this for a second. I'll show how this thing fits through. All right, so looking at the one we did already, let's see, focus here, little so-and-so. Bring it down here, maybe the surface will make focus it better. Okay, so you can hit it with the side, like so. That's a pincher, okay? You can come at it straight on, like so. That's a pincher. And if you lack space to come in from the side, you can actually put the pinch area through the hole and then move to the side and pinch it that way and then take it back out through the hole. So it's kind of a neat tool. And it says on it, what does it say on it? Anything interesting? Can you read that? Let me see. For ear clamps, Kniper, Kniper, 10991220, special tool. Really cool. So it's neat. They make great hoses, and verily, I use them everywhere. They're up here on the fuel lines and everything. And yes, I do get the complaints, but I can't take them off, and they're not reusable. Well, true, you can't take them off, and they're not reusable. But when they leave this shop, they're tight. And our objective is tight and no leaks. And yes, now if you ever have to take something apart, you just have to cut these off with cutting pliers and then put your traditional screw type on and clean up the leaks, because the screw type just don't do as good a job. That's where we are. We're going to start the bike and let it idle and see if we fix that leak. All right, here we go. Okay, as Kevin just said, we got the gas on, key on, and he's on. He's going to kickstart this thing, and I'm going to try to zoom in here on this oil line and see if I can actually see and show you the oil going up this translucent oil line as it crawls up towards the top. All right, see if you can get that sucker started, Kevin. You didn't see it go up, but notice that the tubing is slightly brown, showing that it is passing oil. Now we're going to let it idle like we did before for about 5 or 10 minutes and see what we see as far as oil tightness goes. Don't worry about this tubing getting hot and melting or anything like that. I've used it on many bikes, many times, and it holds up just fine. Well, this is a good example of why this business, this job I'm doing, this occupation, can be very frustrating. We just did all of that, and look right there. It's leaking! And now I gotta look for some other reason. I'm pretty sure it's not the hoses. I gotta look real close at that fitting. The head and see what on earth is happening. This is about the 6th time I'm trying to solve this particular oil leak. And let's turn it off. This is very frustrating. This is where the frustrating part of motorcycle maintenance comes in. I don't charge for this kind of time. I mean, it takes me 6 times to fix something. That's on me. But this is very frustrating. Those are brand new hoses, brand new clamps, brand new copper washers. We tightened that the bolt twice, and you can see it. You can see it leaking there. And we're going to put this thing up in the air and take it apart again and look at it again. And that's why Kevin and I quite often say, the fun
just never stops.
Just never stops. Okay, Frustration City. All right, second follow-up video. And it's leaking again. All right. know, we've just reached into the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I don't know, Kay. We've got to get up in here and figure, where is this oil really coming from? I don't think it's the fitting, and I'm looking at that mark right there, that hairline, but I don't see the oil coming out there. Wow. I'm not sure. It's always this fitting. All the other fittings are tight. Let's put it up in the air and take this apart one more time.
Okay.
Okay, so as I said in the previous video, Kevin and I have actually crossed over into the realm of insanity, which is defined as doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. This is our last and next shot. I took a blade, razor blade, for a box cutter and used it as a flat edge to scrape across this surface and make sure that it is perfectly flat. Then I cleaned it up with a little 600 sandpaper, so I'm convinced that that's a good surface. I looked at what I thought was a crack, and it's not. It's just a casting flaw in, wonderful British castings. There's not much else I can do for this surface. So we've got two new clamps. And over here, I'll show you what we did over here. I cleaned up the surface of this fitting by running it on a flat file. And it's nice and flat. And we've got two brand new aluminum washers. We're going to go with aluminum this time. And I used a file to go underneath the head of the bolt and clean off any little nubbins or anything that's stuck up. One of the things that's interesting, you got 3 interchangeable oil bolts there, and we don't know which one we've been using on which end of the cable, the tube, so we can't say we've always used this one. We could have used the other two when we were troubleshooting. But this one's nice and clean, and I don't think it's the problem. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think the flat surface on the other side of the head is the problem. I don't know what is the problem. But we're going to put it back together one more time. And if it leaks again, I've got a friend who's got bits and pieces and parts here in town, and I'm going to run over and ask him for another one of these. I cannot see any fracture, but that's my last effort before giving up and ordering a really expensive set of oil lines. Like I said before, parts are less expensive than labor, and we're putting a lot of time into this. Once again, for which I'm not charging, because I only charge for the successful efforts, not the ones that are not successful. That's where we are. I'm going to put this together, and then we're going to run it up and see what happens. And we're going to put anaerobic gasket maker on both sides of these aluminum washers. So here we go. Okay, key on, gas on, Kevin on. One more time. Well, you can see the oil in the lines very clearly. That's nice. So far, I don't even want to say it out loud. All right, we're going to turn the fan on and let it sit here and idle for a while. Okay. It seems to be fixed. What we did and it was Kevin's idea, is we put 2 aluminum washers on the back side of the banjo bolt against the head. His theory was that the thickness of these clamps and the thickness of the black clamps that were on the other set was just enough to hold the banjo bolt away from the from the head. And it sounds weird, but we put 2 brand new aluminums back there and 1 aluminum up here, and it is tight. So now we have a little clearance behind these clamps, which then press against the bolt. That's what we did different besides everything else we showed you last. 2 aluminum washers on the inside of the banjo bolt, 1 on the outside, tightened down. We ran it for about 10 minutes, and it's tight, and nothing under the bike. So at this point in time, we are going to bless it and call it good. And not much else to do. We're done. All right, the 71 yellow 750 Commando is ready for pickup. We've got it sitting here over a couple of clean paper towels. Just going to do an overnight leak test, just to watch it and see what happens. This is the bike we're doing the side stand on. I've got the machinist all queued up to come take a look at that. This is the 75 electric start that we finished about, I don't know, 5 or 6 days ago, and it's going to be picked up next week. In the meantime, a good buddy of mine got a pretty good deal on some stuff, and let me show you. Viola! A recently rebuilt TR6 engine that needs the lid to be put on it. And over here, Viola number 2. A really nice head, rocker boxes, valves, push rod tubes, all the head bolts, etc. And whatever else I need, I have. So pretty cool little project. We're going to start on that probably a little bit today, maybe some more tomorrow. I'll finish it up. And yes, I know it's not Viola, it's voila. But I always say Viola. I don't know why, just do. So anyway, voila. A motor, voila. The head and a bunch of bits. That's what we're going to be doing for the next day or two. And some more bits. And pretty good. This will be fun. This will be fun. I don't normally do engines alone, but this guy's a good friend. So we'll get this put together for him.